Okay, so now let's talk about the front of the house. This is sort of what it currently looks like. I've been playing in PowerPoint. People think I'm crazy, but it makes it easier for me and I can do it kind of quick. So this sort of recaptures what the image looks like, roughly the paint. It's like a peach, I would
Yeah,
say it is.
uh-huh. Pinky peach
Yeah,
tone.
something like that. So I kind of showed where the awning is. There's a light up there, and the windows kind of off center and different sizes. The other thing we've been doing, so I use some of my background in architecture and whatnot. So you'll notice some of the tool up here on the top corners where we started drawing a lot of this in the architecture tool to make sure when we were designing things were they going to fit, much more accurate dimensions than putting it in PowerPoint. Um, so this kind of gives you that generic layout of what it currently looks like. The next version is sort of the color scheme we were shifting towards and actually trying to get the windows to sort of match on the first and second floor, as well as the door architecture, because this is probably closer to exactly what the original architecture looked like. Because the top windows are original and they're walk-through windows, and we want to make sure that feel carries downstairs
Mhm.
because they removed it, and we want to put it back. That's the intent. So we're trying to get that look back. Now, there was no awning, so this is what it would look like as it probably was when they had done the house. Um, and what we're looking at possibly is adding an awning space to it. So if I click that, it sort of replicates the architecture. Now in New Orleans, especially on some of the streets when you look around, you'll see it looks very similar to this, where they have the awning on the second floor carries out and it looks like the first floor balcony uh, architecture. And so that's sort of what we've carried through here. So, of course, this is something we'd have to go get approved. So we'll have to be going through that process, much like we did with our fence. You have to go through the historic association. So this is sort of concepts for us to have that conversation. But clearly, right now, that tent that's up there, and you can see it in this left picture. That's not part of a New Orleans architecture, and I'm not quite sure how they got it up there, but I think they just put it up there and didn't really ask, and no one had really said anything. Okay, so we took each room and we literally went through and put the pictures of what it looked like when we bought it and sort of what it's starting to look like as we've been gutting it. Um, and I will tell you on day one, when I was hitting the house with sledgehammers and we had literally just closed on the house, we were sort of looking at each other like, wow, we're really destroying this investment very quickly.
Yes, Babu is notorious for his sledgehammer and tearing down walls.
Yeah,
Any home we've ever had, just about, Babu has taken a sledgehammer to a wall or two.
yeah. And sometimes they stay down and then sometimes they come back up. So it just depends. All right, so this is the front room that you saw, that living space. So the way each of these pages is going to look, the top right walks you through a snapshot from that architecture uh, initial slides that you saw. So it shows you the entrance into the area, and it shows where the fireplace is and what that would look like. So the picture to the left of it is how it was when we bought it. This is exactly what it looked like. So there's the fireplace. Now, they had sealed off the other walls because they were turning this to one part of the house, and on the back side was the bedroom side, and this is how they rented out that first floor. So it was a rental for them. So that's how it looked. Um, Architecturally, this is how we're sort of doing it. So if you walked into the house, as you walked in, looking forward and through the kitchen, this is what you would see in front of you where these people are standing on the south facing. And you can see we're looking at different wallpapers and molding that we'd put in the house and sort of what that layout would look like. And then BB would like some what do you call it? The cabinets on the back.
Oh,
Um,
Chotsky walls is
there you
what we're
go. Thank you.
calling
I
them.
lost the word. Yeah. So
The shelving,
exactly.
and so I can put my tchotchkes. I love ginger jars and whatnot, so I just want a place for my stuff.
Right. So if you turn and look to the right, that's what you'd see on the west side facing, and that shows you the windows. Probably going to shift the window a little bit. That's already there. And then there's her walls that she wanted, a little more formal seating. You look back at the door you came through. This is what it would look like, right? The fireplace is to your right. There's the entry door, and to the left is that where the couch and the uh, Chotsky wall is. Um, Keep looking further over. So now the door's to your left and you're looking at the fireplace. You can see the TV. It's a pass-through fireplace, so you can see through the bottom. We wanted that, so it kind of creates that feel. If you can either be gas or wood, that's sort of what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Sorry, but I just wanted to make a comment to say that, the homes that we've looked at never had any working fireplaces. And so, but given that New Orleans just had snow, and for the past few years that we've been visiting, it's been freezing. So we are going to have a working fireplace.
Yeah. And then on that fireplace, if you look at the top right up here, you'll see that's sort of the look we're looking for, right? You can see that fireplace, you can see through it, sort of shares the living space. That's what we're trying to do, try to create. There's those stairs that I was talking about. We created some temporary ones, very crudely. You can see it in this bottom picture, just so I didn't have to keep walking outside to go upstairs to do work. But when we open that wall, and we'll show you when we're on the other room, you can actually see the original wood that was put in when the house was first built. And was it 1908?
Yeah. Mhm.
And you can see all of it. You can see the wallpaper, everything that's there that was original. So a lot of it we're trying to realign to that. But you can see from the pictures all the gutting that we've done to open the walls. I wanted to make sure where the plumbing was, where the electrical was, um, just sort of opening things up to feel out what it was. And the same thing with this fireplace. A lot of these were put in, these were open in the original house. And so that's the intent, was we're opening that and realizing it, we want to put it back to that. So the living room, which is on the opposite side of where we were when we entered the house, this in essence is where we will end up putting the dining table, which I realize is an older version. So that couch will become basically a dining space for the table. But it works the same way. Basically, when you enter in on this side, if I start on the left side, that's sort of looking back into the house, and you can see the stairwell going up. That's to the second floor, and that's the same pattern it was when it was built. The west facing side, this is looking back to that formal entrance. So what it would look like through the fireplace. And then you're looking back north, which is basically, you can see the fireplace on your left, but behind that's the door to get into, or to go outside. That's what that original entryway was. And there's the walk-through window, and that's what was originally there. And then you look back towards that stairwell, and you can see this is what we're talking about. So the room up above at the very top, you can see how it was bought. When we bought it, they were using it as a bedroom. That's how they were designed to do it. The bottom, if you look all the photos, you can see how we opened it up. And I think I can zoom in if it'll let me. And you guys can see, there we go, what it looks like. You can see the original wallpaper, and you can see the original stairwell wood that was used.
The makeshift stairs are courtesy of Uncle Jeff.
Yes.
Thank you, Uncle Jeff.
And so basically, our intent is we're taking everything, we're stripping it to the stud. We want to put all the new insulation and wiring and plumbing throughout the house, and keep a lot of the, I'll call it characteristics of the original. We're trying to do that. And you can see the fireplace, it's got to be redone. And our intent is to make it a working fireplace again. So that will be, no small feat, if you will. So you can kind of see these pictures, a little bit of sort of what's going on. So I will zoom that back out. Let's see if that worked. And hopefully it worked for you guys on the video. And I'll find out when we're doing it in post. Okay, so let's go. This is the kitchen. So we spent a lot of time on this in terms of things we liked. So at the top left, these were sort of images that we sort of looked around, things we liked, and we wanted to incorporate. Oh yeah, I can zoom in a little bit. Here we go.
So we can see.
So if that helps you a little bit.
Yeah. Babu needs double stove. He does a lot of the cooking, or most of the cooking, I should say, and he wanted two stoves, so I'm giving in.
Yeah.
Ovens, rather. Right?
Ovens.
Yeah.
And then and the other thing we're looking at doing from a counter space, and especially with cooking and all the stuff we're doing, I really want, and I've seen this a few times, where instead of a full fridge that takes up the whole height of an area, we're looking at possibly doing half height fridges that fit under the cabinets and doing a few of them. So that way, sort of like restaurant style a little bit, but it gives me more counter space. So we're sort of looking at that. And then at the same time, some of this architecture stuff regarding oven vents and whatnot. This is currently what the when we bought it, what that dining room area looked like. So it's one of the largest areas. It actually has the curved windows. So there's a lot of floor space here for us to have that. You can see how we drew it up. So there'd be an island, sort of taking advantage of that space. I think if I go a little further, that gives you a little better look of what that looks like. So what I'm going to do is we'll zoom back out here and we can see the, whoops, too far, too far. Where was I?
16.
Thank you. Let's go back up. There we go. Okay, so bottom left, this is looking through the kitchen from the main entrance, so out towards the mudroom. And you can see basically there's the counters and the island in the middle. If you look towards the curved windows, there's the island in front of you. This is what the island would look like. So there's the microwave, dishwasher, a sink, lots of counter space, cookies and
Yeah.
beignets and you name it. And then on the flip side, this is looking back into that formal dining room or living room, I should say. And then on the other side, on the far right, this is looking back at the wall of the main kitchen. So in that case, you can see those fridges I was talking about, the dual ovens, the stove sits in the middle, the zinc hood for the stove, and then basically different shelving that BB was interested in looking at putting in that had the metal look to it, and then as well as sort of the New Orleans character on the outside, we want to bring to the inside with the lighting. So that's another part to it. And as always, whoops, a little too fast here. These are the pictures of what it currently looked like in terms of gutting it. And I keep jumping too fast. One more. There we go. So there's, all right, we're moving on. So, all right, here we go. We're moving on. You saw the real pictures. In essence, that's what we've sort of been gutting. All right, downstairs, there's the bedroom. That's what we were talking about for this one we'll have. You can see the as pitch purchased. They did use it as a room, a bedroom. So we're sort of going to clean all that up and gut it and redo it. So this is what the layout will look like. The bathroom is going to get a little bit bigger, and we're going to take advantage of the hallway that's there and turn it into shower closet because we really want the hallway or the entrance for this area to come from the mudroom. We don't want to bring it through the rest of the house. That way, if anyone does stay there, they have sort of a private entrance through the mudroom. They don't have to go through and be part of the whole living space if they don't choose to. Downstairs, you can see the pictures from the at the very bottom of what it looks like as we're gutting it. So a lot of this um, molding and doors we're going to keep, and we repaint, resand, refinish, but we want to keep a lot of that material because a lot of it's good and it's from the original.
We'll see.
This is the bathroom for that room. So we basically are going to have a tub and a shower, which is what you can see here. And then there's a dual sink, and that's the plan here. So sort of we're trying to make sure it's supportive of if it was if we get older and we have to live on the first floor, then we could fit in here and it'd be fine. It's another primary room, if you will. And then if not, our in-laws, they have a place to stay for a little bit.
Yeah.
I guess like what is it, fish? You last for 3 days.
Oh, stop it.
I'm just joking. I'm just joking. Yeah, so this is the downstairs bathroom, the mud room. So we're splitting this room in half. So remember, if you remember from the original, we're going to actually take one half and turn it into the mud room. The other half will become this green porch. So this is the mud room side. So it shares the wall with what would have been the kitchen. But this is where we're going to have basically the laundry and some counters where when you first bring in the groceries or whatever, you have a place to set down and cabinets to store some things. And the bottom pictures show you what the current kitchen that they built and that on looks like. So we're going to sort of cut it in half, and then we'll split it between those two rooms. This is what the screen porch area would look like. Probably didn't capture very well that it will be much more open feel. The windows or the screen areas will be much larger than what you're seeing here. They're really not going to be a lot of drywall. That's the intent because we wanted you to sit out and feel like you're outside. And then if we're doing a crab boil or whatever, you're sort of out there in the yard, but no mosquitoes, which can't stand that.
Or roaches.
Or roaches. Downstairs half bathroom, so this is under the stairwell. So we want to make sure anyone who's coming over the house that's in the front, that's in the dining or living room area, or even the kitchen, they don't have to go through that bedroom. They can actually go use the half bathroom downstairs. Okay, now we go upstairs. So this would be our primary area room for us. When you get upstairs, basically, you'll see it's a fairly large room. I mean, it's got the fireplace view. There's a door here that you'll see for the bathroom. If I look opposite, there's two doors on the far right image. You can see those are the closet spaces. So you can kind of follow the architecture diagram at the top. And then you can see what it looked like when we bought it. This is what it looked like, and they had gutted everything out, but there's no insulation in the house. It's fundamentally old. And it wasn't really, some things were patched, some things were repaired. It needs some care, and that's what we're going to do. And we're trying to retain as much of the original stuff as much as we can. Go one more. This is that bathroom that was going to be off of this room. So basically, it's two sinks, a shower and a tub, and the toilet. And that's it's not as large as the other one was going to take up the whole room, but I think it's sufficient for the primary room. So we're still debating that. You can kind of see the original bathroom that's in there now. So we're going to be ripping that out and basically relaying things out. You can actually see one of the rooms where I've already started gutting on the back side to get into that bathroom.
Yeah, that picture on the far left at the bottom, that was actually that kitchen that you saw earlier.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yep. And then here's that living room that's on the opposite side of the bedroom, the primary bedroom. So you enter, as I mentioned before, it was open downstairs to the downstairs, and there's a third floor access. That's what you're looking at here. And then there's the large screen TV. There's an entrance to the balcony. It's a walk-through window. And then the back side is basically where the couch area is, and you can see the stairs up. And then down below it, you can see the real photos of what it currently looks like. And if you look, I think it's on this one here on the bottom left photo. So let's see if we can zoom in, if it'll let me. On the floor, you'll notice where that tape is. This is when we were trying to plan out where things were going to go, and I kind of use tape. It helps me visualize. But you can see on the floor where the wood was added and replaced. That seam is where the original house they had opened to the downstairs, so that you could see the stairwell, and it was part of the living space. And that doorway wasn't even there. There was a door that actually was here to get into that primary room, and that's how it was set up. Okay, let's see if it'll let me zoom back out. Sorry, it's running a little slow because it's a lot of imagery. We're here, so we're going to go to the guest bathroom. So we're working through this one now. So this is another bathroom on the back side of the primary bathroom, where we're going to add in basically a toilet, shower, and sink. Just simple, it's just enough for the guests. So there's only two tubs in the house. It'll be in the primary and the downstairs primary. This is one of the bedrooms. So we're going through and been gutting that and getting that kind of laid out and understood. So this will be one of the bedrooms. And now we're going back and forth between bedroom and office. So this is sort of the top view is what it will look like if it's a bedroom, and the bottom view is what it's going to look like if it's an office. And you can see all the Chotsky walls and everything else. So
gotta have my Chotsky walls. And again, this is that former kitchen, upstairs kitchen.
Correct.
So we're gonna turn that into either a library, office, or a bedroom.
Yeah, which originally was a bedroom. They came in and added this stuff, so we're going to take it all back out and start it again and get it right back to where it was. This is the third floor. So as I told you, it's very high ceilings. And so we're going to put, sort of skylight, which is sort of what you're looking at up here. These aren't side windows. And we're trying to open this up and turn it into a game room area for our son. That's it. So the rest of this is literally what you sort of do in terms of each house of running through and looking at things like plumbing and sewer lines and HVAC and electrical. I spent a lot of time, and it's only because of my background that I've able to get a lot of this in. So the intent is that we can actually, get this all put together and then it helps with the contractors, and then helps with getting permits and getting approvals. So with that, I think that's it. Sorry for the imagery of coming and
Yeah.
going. So what, I'll stop sharing this so maybe we can see each other better. There we go. Yeah, so go ahead, if you wanted to say anything else on it.
No, I mean, Babu put a lot of work into this. We collaborated and still trying to figure it out to decide exactly what we want to do. Again, we'd love to get your feedback, what you like, what you think we should do, shouldn't do. Just get your constructive criticism. That would be great. And we're excited to keep you on our journey with us and see what we have in store.
Yeah, I think the next one we're going into is going to be starting some of the work, or actually it's the demo.
Yeah, we
So
still have,
opening the walls, because we have a lot of images
yeah.
and footage that we can
Yeah,
show.
as you saw, we still have to do a lot of demo, and so we have some footage showing you that. So
And then we'll take
yeah,
them into the fence build.
yeah,
And that was its own feat, which actually worked out well because we got it in place before the floods started, or the heavy rains and the
yeah,
snow.
the snow, yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
so a
So
foot of snow.
yeah, yeah, it kept a lot of water out, so that
Yeah,
was great.
so okay, all right.
All right, thanks, guys. Please like, share, and subscribe.